listening to the Emjoy podcast, where we talk to experts about everything you need to know on sex, self-love, and wellness. The Emjoy podcast is presented by Emjoy, the audio guide for intimate wellness with guided practices to explore your body and regain confidence in your sex life. Welcome everyone to the Emjoy podcast. My name is Anna, and today I'm lucky enough to be here with the legendary, I'm gonna say that, Elle Chase, a certified sex educator, coach, and body acceptance and pleasure advocate, who also happens to be the author of the book Curvy Girl Sex, which is right there behind it if you're watching the video, behind her, sorry. And she's also, and this is very exciting for us, the first two-time collaborator on the Emjoy app, whose second collection on pleasure will be up this Wednesday. Hi, Elle, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. I always end up talking about the weather in this bit because everyone is always in like a different time zone and they have the most amazing weather. So how's the weather right there, Elle?
It's gorgeous.
Oh my God.
It's gorgeous in LA. Exactly what you want it to be.
Oh no. I'm always so envious because lately it's been raining a lot here. It never rains here, supposedly. But lately, every single time, consistently, it's as if I was calling it with the podcast. You know, I'm predicting it. Yeah. So let's move on before I turn green physically. And because we have a lot to talk about from your life and love and good sex and pleasure. So let's just get to it. Now, first things first, how did you get here? How did you end up writing and talking about body acceptance and sex and pleasure?
I was in a sexless marriage for a long time.
Oh.
And I didn't really realize, I didn't know like why sex was such a big deal. Like I just didn't know. And which was clear that I had never had good sex or I'd never, been in my body and advocated for myself for good sex. So when I got a divorce, I wanted to date. I was really looking for passion because I saw passion out there and I was like, wow, I want that. And so I had to go date, but I was at the heaviest I'd ever been physically. And the need for passion and sexual satisfaction was so great that it made me overcome the obstacle of not liking my body. And what I discovered through this process of dating, I'm cisgender and straight, um, uh, made me realize that everything around me was telling me I wasn't desirable, but in real life, I am desirable. So I wanted to share that with other more women than men um, who are not super thin and part of a conventional beauty standard. Although conventionally beautiful people um, do have body image issues. I think every woman does. And when it comes to sex or any type of physical pleasure, it's a lot harder for people with body image issues to be able to get in the mindset to allow themselves to enjoy pleasure.
Yeah, of course, if you're thinking about it all the time. And I think this was on your collection. You said something that really stuck with me, which is you don't get to choose what your partner finds attractive about you. It was somewhere along something
Yeah.
along those lines, and I was very impressed by that, and it really struck me because I think it's something we all struggle with. We were talking just now before I started recording about how I am 31 now, and I've been with my partner for a decade now in a couple of months, and I was 21 when we met, so I was a very different person physically. I
Yeah.
was so tiny, and I was very confident in myself, and my body has changed, and that stuck with me because it's true. How can I wonder sometime why he's attractive, like why he's attracted to me when he clearly is and he shows it often. Why am I questioning that? I think that's very interesting. That's amazing that you got to, like, your desire for passion was so strong that you just got over it.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't have to swap one out for the other. It's not meant to be that way.
Yeah.
And when it comes to our partners, when we dismiss what they like about us, when they are authentically telling us what they like and that they desire us, we're basically accusing them of lying. And lying in a relationship is like death, you know.
Yeah.
You want to encourage your partner, and even if you can't believe why they would find you attractive, think of it this way. um, I like roses. I love roses. I think they're beautiful. I'm not a big fan of daisies, but daisies are beautiful. And though I don't choose to have daisies in my house, I have roses and other flowers. It doesn't make daisies any less beautiful to other people. And you know what? Once in a while, I'll want a daisy in the house. You know what I mean? I'll find something compelling about this bunch and I'll want them in my house. And so it doesn't matter what you look like. There is always someone that will find you attractive, and that's just the way the world is set up. Diversity is the food of desire, is what I think. And even without a partner, it is important to be able to see yourself in all of your facets and recognize that they are all equally beautiful and sexy.
I love all of that. That's amazing. So wow. Um, now I love the flower thing too. Just FYI. But now you have done two collections for the Emjoy app. And the Emjoy app is very much, it's all about accepting your body and
Mhm.
reconnecting with it so you can feel pleasure. No, so
Yeah.
this very thing. Can you give us a brief introduction to each one of your collections so our listeners know what to expect and which one they might need first, or which they might need the most or enjoy the most?
Yeah, I love these collections. I go into depth in the first one about why we hate our bodies and what what is in the zeitgeist and how we grew up and why the messages that we were getting as we grow up, all the different places, so that we can look at our life critically and look at what we see around us critically and recognize that that is all a construct. So I go into that, and I give exercises that help you get into it more, that will lead you into seeing a more a bigger version of your life and your body. And with that comes a confidence that you will see that it will come within you, and it will start to bubble and percolate, and then you can take it from there and build it like going to the gym. You start slowly, and then as you build muscle and get stronger, you can add more things in. That's what I hear, at least, because I don't go to the gym, but um, but that's what the first collection is about. It's getting your mindset in a different place so that you can see yourself and the world around you in a more realistic and more authentic way, without the social constructs. The second collection is about body image and sex. And though it sort of focuses on plus size people, fat people, I call myself a fat person, though it is focused on that, it is really applicable to anyone with any body image issue. So we dive a little bit in the beginning into the social construct issue so that we know where we're going in the exercises and where we're going to end up at the end. And then we talk about we talk about uh, toys to use, the best toys to use for a bigger body, and the best positions and how you can augment and modify certain positions in a way that will free you up a little bit. We also talk a lot about getting out of your head before sex and how to do that, and setting up a sensual space so that all of your senses are occupied, so that you can tell your mind to go away and occupy yourself with other more sensory things around you. So that's what the collections are, and I think they go very, very well together. I would start with the first collection, which is just body image, and then I'd move on to body image and sex.
I love that. I've heard both collections, and I really like, particularly in the second one. I really enjoy the way you are, and of course, this comes from talking about this daily. You know, the same way maybe I or anyone who works with me at Emjoy talks about sex with this like seamlessly, because it's just the thing we work with every single day.
Yeah,
And some other people find it very difficult and they struggle a lot. I love the way that you describe and talk about fat bodies, just exactly like that. Just it's just a descriptor. It's just a thing. Sometimes you have to move your fat, for example.
yeah,
Say it, and it's just a thing that happens. Yes, we all have a skin that we have to move sometimes to be more comfortable, and I find it great that you take that into consideration, not just in your collection, but obviously on your book, which is all about it, and it's also
yeah,
amazing. Big fan here,
yeah.
clearly.
Thank you.
And
Well, thank you. I mean, fat bodies are one of the questions I get all the time is, um, what's how do you have sex with a fat body? Like, what's different about a fat body? And I said, really, sex with a fat body is exactly the same as sex with a thin body or a tall body or a short body. It's just sometimes you need to augment it in different ways, but we all do. Sometimes people have a bad back. Some people are pregnant. Um, and of course, it is, there's always something we do. Sex is inelegant at best. So it is not what you see in the movies. So at
yeah,
some point, everyone's going to be like, ouch, oh, I stuck my elbow in your eye. I'm so sorry. Or you're on my hair. Or so in that way, it's not different. And we're all going to have to make some sort of adjustments at some point in our life because, as you know, our bodies change constantly throughout our life. There's nothing we can do to stop it, unfortunately, because that would solve a lot
oh
of
yeah.
problems for some people. But at any rate, that's the story. That's the story with just being matter of fact about it because it
Because it's
really.
just, yeah, it's just another thing. But I really like it because I had never heard anyone talk about it and take those things into consideration, and we all know they are real, we all know they are there because we live them. But it was so nice and so reassuring, being like, yeah, I have rules, and sometimes rules get in the way. I can't squeeze myself into some positions comfortably, and I
Yeah.
felt so, yeah, reassured and so comforted in that.
Mhm.
And in one of the sessions, you already said you talk about setting the stage for good sex. So I want to ask you, Elle, what is good sex to you, or in general, whatever, what's good sex?
Well, good sex is anything that gives you pleasure. And it doesn't have to be penetrative sex, penis in vagina or dildo in vagina or ass or whatever. It doesn't have to be that. Um, any type of sexuality or sexual act that gives you great pleasure is good sex. Um, Getting to that place is a whole other story. Getting to that place is being able to be mindful in the moment, getting out of your head. It's being able to communicate with your partner effectively and have your partner communicate to you. And that has a lot about consent. Consent makes sex better. It just does. And that's not just like, do you want to have sex? Yes. It is constantly checking in and it can be sexy. It can be dirty talk. It can be like, I'd really like to know what it would be like to have you in my mouth right now. Spoken seductively in the ear, that is sexy. And so that's a type of consent to continue on. And it's also communication. So it's learning the techniques that will give your partner more pleasure. But more importantly, it's knowing your body and knowing what turns you on and what parts of your body and the way you like to be touched. And that comes from a self pleasure practice, which I think is something that if we enjoy masturbation, we should all be doing it. Some people don't masturbate, and that is absolutely fine. But if you can masturbate, really getting into your body and touching yourself and trying it, both with a toy maybe and with your hands, just learning how to touch yourself. And that is there's an exercise like that, similar to that in the second collection.
And I think that that's very important sometimes. And we have this thing, because May was masturbation month. And
Yeah.
one of the messages that was really important for us to convey was masturbating is good for your partners too. The fact that you self pleasure, if you choose to, if you enjoy it, it
Mhm.
can be amazing for your shared sex life,
Oh
just,
God.
and a lot of it because of consent and because of it makes it easier to ask for what you want.
Yeah.
You need to know what you want, for starters, if you want to be able to ask for it.
Yes, and also, I'm a big proponent of masturbation and mutual masturbation. I think a great way to show your partner how you like to be touched, if you're a little skittish about telling them or using the words, is to suggest mutual masturbation. It's really hot, and watching each other masturbate really gives your partner an idea of what it well, more specifically, shows them exactly how you like to orgasm, or that what arouses you and what gives you pleasure. Um, and then checking in with yourself throughout your life, because as your body changes, your turn-ons may change too, and the places in your body that you enjoy may change as well, in different ways, and that's a good thing. It keeps us all on our toes. So know that you can always sort of go back to the well, go back to the body, and touch it and spend time with it and find places that may have changed or maybe even more sensitive. But good sex, to answer your question, is any sex that you enjoy.
That's amazing. And I believe that's very, very true. As long as everyone involved, I always say that. As long as everyone involved is enjoying it, that's it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about obstacles.
Mhm.
Obstacles. Obstacles to pleasure.
Yes.
In your experiences and the in the things that you have talked about with people, because we're lucky in that we talk about this with people constantly. What are some of the key things that you've noticed are obstacles to enjoy our sex lives as much as we should and could be enjoying it?
I think it is stress, the daily pressures of life, all those things that we are constantly trying to take care of. Our brain works on so many different levels. It's constantly processing things that we don't even know it's processing. And so being able to get out of our heads in order to get into our bodies and our pleasure and focus on our partner and what's happening between us, or just the pleasure that you're having by yourself, it's important to be able to get out of your head. And there's a couple of exercises in the second collection that talk about that and help you with that. But I think I know mindfulness is a real big buzzword right now, but it's a buzzword for a reason. It really helps us in so many different ways. And when it comes to having really good connected sex, mindfulness is really important. So practicing that in whatever way works best for you, whether that's yoga or meditation or being in nature or petting a dog or a cat or something that takes you out of your head, is really important.
Great. And I love that mindfulness is something that well, just like everything, if you practice enough, the whole idea is just to practice it enough and in like specific situations that whenever you need it, you can just turn it on. No, right? And that's what you would do in sex. It's not that you're meditating during it, but that you've meditated enough that you understand that your brain understands the process of disconnecting from whatever's happening on the outside.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think we're ever done, you know what I mean? I think we're always going to have those intrusive thoughts that come into our head while we are trying to get them out, and that's always gonna happen, and that's okay. That is okay. It is, meditation and mindfulness, and the practice is there to help you, move that to the side for a bit. Um, so there's no goal. The goalposts keep moving, and that's fine. You just have your tools and you apply your tools.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, wow. I don't think we have much more time left because we
Okay.
like the conversation short and sweet. But thank you so much for giving me the chance to talk and for being so fun and insightful and charming. Really, you are
Oh
very
my goodness.
charming,
Thank you.
Elle. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for being here. And make sure to follow Elle on social media. She's at the Elle Chase on Instagram and Twitter. Definitely recommend following her everywhere. Apparently, I'm a big fan. I'll just, yeah, I'm gonna fangirl shamelessly over here. I don't care.
Oh goodness. Oh, goodness.
And of course, follow us at Let's Emjoy with an M on every channel. That's what we're called everywhere. And watch out for Elle's second collection on the app this week. See you on the next Emjoy podcast. And thank you so very much for joining us. Thank you for listening to the Emjoy podcast, a sex, self-love, and wellness podcast presented by Emjoy, the audio guide for intimate wellness with guided practices to explore your body and regain confidence in your sex life. Find the Emjoy app on the App Store or Play Store and register to get a 7-day free trial.